What's up, guys? Alright, that was weird. So, it's another cold one, and we're here back in the garage. Today's mission is to get the bolts off of the bell housing to the engine, slowly take all the electrical off, take all the automatic transmission lines and everything off, and slowly lower the transmission. After everything is said and done, we still need to make sure the transmission is going to work and send a signal to the cluster, which is going to be another problem all in itself. But that being said, welcome back. Let's get this day going and let's drop this automatic transmission like it's hot. So I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, because this baby right here needs to be going in. I don't know if I have enough clearance as it is. We're gonna see in a little bit if I do, if I don't. Even if I don't, we're gonna have to figure something out. Oh well. Welcome to today's video.
Search everywhere.
So what you guys just saw me disconnecting was the automatic transmission fluid that goes up front to the radiator that cools the fluid. So just got both of those lines off, as well as I disconnected the neutral safety switch. I didn't disconnect it electronically though, it's still connected. I'm hoping that what I can do now is just disconnect all of the bell housing bolts. I will also have to tilt the engine back a little bit so that I can get the top two bolts so that I can drop the transmission. The goal is to have the transmission on the ground. I think we're making good time, so I'm gonna keep working and try to get it. Also, I apologize for the angles. I don't really have the best camera tripod setup right now, especially for underneath the car, because there's grease, a really tight space, and I don't want to break this camera. I've been through quite a few of them already, just being underneath the car. So with that being said, let's get back into this. Okay, cool. So I got majority of the bolts done. These two lower ones, there's one right here, and then there are two starter bolts one right there, and then so there's another starter bolt right up there. That's the top one, and then there's these 2 bolts right up there, and that is how you take off your bell housing. So there's a quick tip to take those 2 bolts out because they are a pain in the ass to get to up, and getting to them this way with a lot of extensions. So what you can do instead, you still have to go up and over, unfortunately, but there is a better way of doing it. So in these little holes right here, that is an engine mount bolt. So what you can actually do is loosen that bolt, and this is the other engine mount bolt. Loosen both of them, I would say probably 10 turns, 10 to 20 turns, something like that. So what that's gonna do is when you go ahead and loosen those engine mounts up, you're gonna be able to tilt the engine and transmission back. And when you do that, you can take these transmission mounting bolts and you can take that off slowly. If you take that off slowly and have a piece of wood, a flat piece of wood underneath the transmission with the jack and lower the transmission, it'll actually give you access to those top bolts without having to pull the engine. So that is basically the easiest way to do this. I mean, it's not easy because you still have a transmission that's hanging barely. What I would suggest, because I've done this twice or 3 times already, so I kind of know how loose those engine mount bolts have to be. What I would suggest is loosen them up and basically loosen up slowly. Like loosen them up like little by little, and then once you do that, while they're still tight-ish, go ahead and take the transmission mount off completely, but have a jack underneath it. You don't want this thing to fall. If you unbolt this thing and those jack points don't hold it up, because I mean it's only held up by 2 bolts at this point from the bell housing to the engine, you will get hurt and it will not be fun. So make sure to have a flat piece of wood underneath this pan. The reason why you want to have a flat piece of wood is because if you just put a block of wood underneath it, like a 2x4 or something like that, you will dent the oil pan. And if you dent the oil pan, there's a good chance that you're going to poke a hole in it, and once that happens, you're going to have to get another oil pan because it's not going to hold fluid. It's not going to be a good day for you. You're going to be upset, but that is the easiest way to get your transmission out. Just if you need to get the torque converter or have to replace the seal, or you're doing a manual swap like me, because that is the only reason why you should be taking this transmission out, unless it needs a rebuild, because putting it back in is a mess. It's not fun. So, alright, anyways, let's go ahead and do all the steps. I'm going to show you guys as much as I can before we lower this thing, because if this thing can come out today, that would be a good day. So let's stop talking story, let's get to it, and let's get this thing down on the ground. Let's do it. Alright, so it is turning, so we're just gonna give it a few turns, nothing too crazy. We don't want it to be completely out. We just want it enough so that mount has a little bit of room to bend. Because trust me when I say, if you guys take this bolt out completely, it is a pain in every single part of your body to line up the engine mount threads with the hole. It's a whole thing, so we're not going to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. And then we're going to get a jack underneath the transmission. The only thing that's really getting me through doing all of this tedious work is finally seeing that manual transmission in the car or through the transmission tunnel. So really excited. I will have to bang out the transmission tunnel, but that's gonna come later. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of heat to it as well, because then it'll be easier to pound, and it's gonna make a lot of noise. So I'm looking forward to that, because who isn't? All right, let's get back into it and update you in a little bit. Also, I should probably cover this as well. Don't drop the transmission until you have all of the electrical components disconnected. So, with that being said, there is, let's see, right quick. So mainly most of the electrical connections are on the driver's side. So you have this sensor right here. A lot of these sensors are very old and brittle, so yeah. There's another sensor right here. And then, so there's only 2 or 3 connectors. So, oh, and then this connector right in front of my face that I forgot about. So, get all those connectors disconnected and try not to break them. I'm gonna have to reuse some of the wires to making sure neutral safety switch and my reverse lights come on as well. So, before I forget, don't forget to take the flywheel bolts off. So this cover right here, you take that out, and then you'll be able to see all the bolts. So yeah, don't forget to do that. And then I think, oh, there's a ground there. I forgot about that. There's a ground there, and then there's another bolt right, that bolt right there. So I don't know if, yeah, no, those are definitely connected to the bell housing. So all right, take those off too. If you guys haven't already, definitely like this video, subscribe, and comment down below what kind of music you like to listen to. Let's do that. Alright, so we got the transmission bolts out, and we also have the transmission mount out, but now we have to take the torque converter bolts out. Thankfully, I will not have to deal with these ever again. Right in there, you can barely see it, right in there. So what you gotta do is you gotta loosen this bolt up, and then you got to rotate the transmission so that you can get all 6 of them. Okay, that was the hardest transmission pull I have ever done, and this is the only reason why. On SC300s, you have a cable that goes right here, and that cable is connected directly to the transmission that goes down through that hole right there. So now we have the transmission dropped, and there's transmission fluid everywhere, which I thought I took it all out, but I guess not. So what we have to do now is we have to actually take it off the jack, and then we have to drop it on the ground and then somehow push it out, which shouldn't be a problem pushing it out. It's absolutely dirty though, like super bad, but it shouldn't be a problem taking it out. We're just gonna have to move to the side, and then we're gonna have to grab the bell housing to put on our CD009. So let's go ahead and drop it real quick, and then we're gonna mock it up to the CD009. We're probably gonna clean it off because it looks absolutely disgusting. With that being said, let's get it done. Okay. The transmission is out. I took the bell housing off too because there's no way the bell housing was gonna fit out from underneath the car, and there's miscellaneous bolts and everything. The torque converter is right there, but there's bolts and there's stuff everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up and mock everything up. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the actual shifter gold because this short shifter is the shifter's gold, so it'd be cool to paint this gold and then maybe even this piece gold because, you know, you won't see it, but I think that'd be really, really cool just to match that. I mean, it's obviously not the same by any standard, but this thing does need to get a wash, and then this is the bell housing. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up and probably call it on this video and end it here. But I'm at a really good stopping point. I'm really, really glad that the transmission is on the ground, and I have to make sure that I can actually run the bleeder line and the clutch line up into, or the clutch master hydraulic line up to the driver's side so that I can actually hook it up to the pedal, and then I will also go ahead and install the clutch and the flywheel and pilot bearing. So all that stuff is going to be in the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm exhausted. I'm really upset. There's a lot of learning that came out of this experience, which I'm really glad for. This will definitely help me in the long run with the business that I'm trying to set up and trying to run. I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to go take a shower. I am disgusting. I'm gross. And I look a lot better than I feel, to be honest. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. And never forget, guys, always stay positive and stay true to who you are. Till next time. See ya. Shoots!